This is just a mini review recap of comparing and contrasting. We're going to focus more on informational text. All right, so our objective and purpose. Our objective is I can read two different texts and identify the comparisons and contrasts they have, such as like topic, structure, purpose, audience. Think of that raft form that we taught you guys. Then purpose. The purpose is learning to be strategic readers. We're learning how to create meaning from informational and literary texts, but we're going to kind of emphasize on the informational. Know what the text is about and the interaction with the text that provokes thinking and response. So we're really reading the text and figuring out what is it kind of telling us. So Wednesday's agenda, let's just kind of review again. Wednesday's agenda, it's going to be more guided practice and reviewing. Thursday is going to be more independent work. And see where you guys are at with that. So, what does compare mean? Just giving you a sec to think about it. So if you guessed it, it's going to be, you're going to give two similarities or comparing two or more things. So think about presidents. When we think about our presidents, they all had a very similar role, similar jobs. Then when we go to contrast, what do you think contrast means? If you guess it's kind of the vice versa, it's going to mean two or more things and their kind of differences. So going back to presidents, all presidents in our history might have the same role, the same title, the same kind of duties. However, for contrasting, it could be presidents had different political stances. They had different political views, different laws they created during their office, their belief system. You can contrast a president and how he had to deal with his time era and what was going on during those current events compared to another time era. Except for comparison, you can totally compare presidents' thinkings of what they did. So totally, you can compare and contrast any two things. It just has to be more than two things. It can't just be a single idea or thing or person. So we're going to look at these two structures of text. I'm going to read them to you. I'm going to kind of ask you some questions and pause to let you do a little bit of thinking before I kind of teach you what they are. So my garden on the left-hand side. My garden is such a colorful sight, with pretty roses and scented sweet peas, an abundance of blooms what pure delight. Beautiful butterflies gently alight on flowers dancing on the summer breeze. My garden is such a colorful sight. Sweet night, scented stalks abloom at midnight. Their aroma is always sure to please. An abundance of blooms what pure delight. Carnations in purple, scarlet, and white are visited by busy bumblebees. My garden is such a colorful sight. To the right, my garden. Number 1, mulch the garden bed soon after planting. Use a 2-inch layer of wooden chips, straw, or pine straw in flower or vegetable gardens. Number 2, water the garden regularly, providing the amount of water necessary for the specific plant varieties. Most vegetables and some flowers require approximately 1 inch of water from irrigation or rainfall per week. Number 3, check soil moisture at least twice weekly and water most plants. All right, you can already see and you kind of hear when I read it out loud the difference between the two structures or the two texts. So the left-hand side, what already kind of pops out to you? If you guessed it, it sounds more like a poem. Compared to the right-hand side, what is this garden talking about? Correct. It's chronological order. It's giving instructions. So when we look on the left-hand side, we can already see the wording is totally different. There's a lot of adjectives, descriptions, and imagery. It's kind of really painting a picture of what this garden is going to look like. Pretty roses, scented sweet peas, their aroma is sure to please. A lot of rhyming schemes in here. And we can already see, so we kind of want to ask ourselves those questions. What is the topic that's being discussed in these text structures? We can already guess, wow, they're very similar. They're both talking about a garden. What about the purpose of this one? Think about it, the purpose is kind of to entertain. It's telling us a little bit of a story. How about the purpose of this one? Right, it's talking about the purpose is just instructing how to build a garden. Um, you can kind of see the difference of the two. This would be more of a literary text, and this would be more of an informational text. And same with the formatting. The formatting right here is going to be more of like a poem. And over here, think about the text structure. Remember when we learned about that? What text structure is this? It's chronological order, right? It's giving you those step-by-step how to build this garden. Think about the audience now. What do you think the audience would be for this one? The audience one might be poetic fanatics, children even. How about the audience for this? Could be gardeners, people learning to want to build a garden, even farmers if you wanted to say. So totally two different similar topics, but they have totally different kind of ways of presenting information. We're going to dive more into this Wednesday and Thursday. However, we're going to dive more into informational text and comparing two informational texts because there's still going to be a lot of similarities and differences compared to literary and informational.